Kathy, thank you so much for being on the podcast today and having the conversation with me today. If you wouldn't mind, could you go ahead and introduce yourself as well as Diggs Vacation Rentals?
Sure. It's my name's Kathy Kelly. Diggs Vacation Rentals is my business. We are in Templeton, California, which is the town next to Paso Robles, California. Wine country.
Perfect. Yeah, I love it up there. Um, so, Kathy, I want to start where your career actually begins. Most people who interview you start with Diggs or with Paso Robles, but your story actually starts before that. Um, through college, you were an assistant property manager for Howard Apartments, which is right outside of Boston. You managed 18 buildings, which is quite a bit. That's 250 apartments, 26 retail stores, two restaurants, all while going to school full time. And then you also had a side cleaning business as well, cleaning condos that were being transitioned to timeshares. Um, and then it's kind of where you learn sort of business aspects and models. You know, you hired your fellow college student friends and marked up the fees to manage them. So even as a teen, you also cleaned hotel rooms for a friend's family who owned several properties in the New Hampshire Lakes region. So all that experience could be contributed to Diggs today. But also after that, you had a career and kind of started at CNN in Atlanta as well, where you're a video journalist, and then Boston TV production and animation. Then you moved to Los Angeles, producing infomercials and running the creative department at Williams Television Time, which is one of the largest direct-to-consumer media buying agencies in the country. So, what was the world like? And when you look back at all of it now, what did those years teach you about marketing and presentation that you still use every single day today in vacation rental business?
Wow. God, I feel old.
It was an amazing backstory, so I had to highlight all of it. But yeah, so what kind of did you learn throughout that story and that road that you still use today?
I use just about every skill I've learned. I mean, it really, when I think back, it's like, running being assistant manager for all those apartments early on while going to school, and then moving to Atlanta, starting with CNN when it first started up back in the late 80s, early 80s. I'm sorry, when was I there? Yeah. And then we're getting back. My passion was to be in communications, and so the vacation rental or the property management stuff was kind of got me through college and got me started in my career in television. And but luckily, I actually use all those skills I learned early on, and all the skills I learned in television. As a producer, you do many of the same things you do as a property manager. You've got to keep a lot of balls in the air and plates spinning constantly, and with a lot of deadlines. So all of those skills have come into play in this business.
And it sounds like you had an entrepreneurial kind of feeling way early on, or sense at least when you were a teenager as well as in college. Managing all of that as well, and then yeah, it's amazing to hear that the kind of development. And then more present day now. So in 2003, you moved to Paso Robles, bought a vacation home in downtown Paso, and then started renting it out. This was before Airbnb and VRBO, before they even existed as concepts. What did self-managing a vacation rental in 2003 look like at that time? And then what did you learn from those early years that no amount of reading or training could have given you?
Well, it was interesting. We bought the little cottage because we were going back and forth to this area. We liked it, and we bought the cottage. We said, let's just buy something since we're coming up here so often. And we rented it out as a vacation rental, which the concept vacation rental wasn't even really termed at that point, at this
Mhm.
point. And so I kind of hooked into some of the B&Bs and figured out how they were marketing and kind of joined forces with them. I hooked up with like the Paso Robles Wine Alliance and offered the furnished place for writers and any kind of media people that were coming up to talk about Paso wine,
Mhm.
which was just kind of getting started as well. And and so it just kind of took off, and it was kind of like the Wild West because there were no permits required. It was just like renting out anything, and it was kind of nice back then. I
Mhm.
have to say. I did the cleaning. I did everything
Oh
myself.
wow.
So kind of really learned the whole process of what it takes to service them, takes to turn a place around and whatnot. But yeah, that place is actually still a vacation rental after all these years. I had sold it many years ago, but that
Mhm.
place is actually still a vacation rental in
That's
downtown.
that's amazing. Where was marketing more so? Was it more of like kind of word of mouth, or how how were you able to kind of market back then? And obviously, was there anything online that was easy to kind of market
Nothing
at that
online. There
time?
was
Or
nothing really online. It was
yeah.
I joined forces with the Paso Robles Wine Country Alliance, which
Mhm.
because I knew that they had people coming in all the time. So I showed
Yeah.
them the place and, offered that up to some of the writers and media folks that they had coming in, and also kind of hooked in with a few other groups where I knew that they had people coming in and out of town. And it was word of mouth, a lot of word of mouth. It's
Mhm.
a very small town. It's not a huge town. So, if you say you've got a place for rent, they go, oh, it's right downtown. Perfect. Yeah, we'd love to.
Oh,
So
that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Um, So further along in 2016, you were hired to launch the Central Coast market for Turnkey Vacation Rentals, which is a national STR management company based in Austin. In your first year, you built it into a self-sufficient, fully staffed market. And by year two, you had grown the portfolio to 100 homes, generating revenue that matched the LA and Palm Springs markets. And then Turnkey cut 20% of staff in preparation for its sale. And you were among those let go. So, what did that moment feel like? And then, what was going through your mind in the days right after that?
well, when I got the call from the vice president of the company because my immediate manager didn't want to tell me. He was like chicken, I think. But I was hurt, obviously,
Mhm.
because I knew I was doing a really good job for them, and they knew I was doing a good job for them. But they were preparing themselves to be sold to Vacasa, and they had to cut 20% of the staff. I get it. And I just looked at it as, okay, well, I just got a free education. And what happened was is that the homeowners did not want to go with Vacasa. They didn't want to, they had gotten used to me being their point person to help them
Mhm.
with their homes. And it really came down to they started asking me, please start your own because we're not going with them. And we'll go with you. We'll sign with you right now to manage our home. So I had two that were on the hook at the time and was ready to sign them. And they said, just take our homes, please. Just take them and manage them because they didn't live in the area. And then I was thinking, do I do this or what? I said, I'll do it. And then I said, if one person contacts me and decides that they want me to manage their home, which is my biggest home, it's still in my portfolio and still makes the most money, I said, if she calls me, then I'll do it. And sure enough, that day, she practically called me that day. And I said, okay, I guess I have a business. And that
Mhm.
was kind of it. So in my first year, I had 13 homes right
Wow.
away.
And it
Yeah.
sounds like, you connected a lot with people on a personal level with where you're at in your market. Enough so that people were loyal to you, right? They're like, hey, look, we don't want to go with Vacasa. We want you to do something. We trust you. We're used to having you manage our properties. I think that goes a long ways. And even back to when we were talking about in 2003, sort of the marketing technique was more referrals going out to, I'm sure, to businesses, talking to them. So that's amazing. I like to hear that where business owners and founders kind of resort to personal connection because I feel like sometimes that's lost nowadays,
It is.
especially with a lot of things online. I just feel like a lot of people kind of overlook that or just don't even really use that or develop that with the personal connection with people in general. I feel like that goes a long ways. So I'd love to hear that. Love to hear that. That's kind of even I'm sure more so what you're doing now is connecting with
I
people on a personal level.
I do. I think that that's one of the best things that I like about this business is that you're in a business partnership with each homeowner. That's how I look at it. Is I don't have one business. I have 50 businesses.
Mhm.
And each homeowner and I have a certain relationship. We have an understanding, we have expectations, and we really work together in trying to reach their goals and attain their goals. And so I invoke myself in their lives and they invoke their
Mhm.
lives into mine. And it's a real personal relationship that we have, and we work together. I mean, that one woman that I told you that's been with me since we're on the phone all the time. We talk all the
Mhm.
time. Like, what do you want to do about this? How should we do that? What do you, it's a real collaborative effort, and those are the most successful vacation rentals is
Mhm.
when they're participating and you're participating. I look at it, they have the product, I have the marketing and the skills and the technical skills to get it all to happen. And of course the maintenance and all the cleaning and all that stuff, but they're putting together the product.
Mhm.
And if the product isn't good, it doesn't matter how good your marketing is, so you need them as much as they need you. And that's kind of how I look at each one is like, and the homeowners that get that mindset and know that this is a real business, it is a real business, they get it and they're going to be the most successful.
Absolutely. Um, so after you were let go, several of your turnkey homeowners followed you and helped you launch Diggs Vacation Rentals. So we got a little bit into that the last question, but property owners do not follow managers out the door of a national company to help them start something new unless that relationship is genuinely exceptional. So what do you think it was specifically about how you managed those relationships that made that kind of loyalty possible? And then what does it say about what property owners actually value in a manager that a big national platform just can't deliver?
I think the homeowners always know that we're going to be there for them. And they know that they can call us or text us. And I mean, sometimes will get texts at 6 in the morning or, 11 o'clock at night. And they know that I'll answer. If not, I'll get back to them as soon as possible. And
Mhm.
they know that we're going to take care of their home. And we do. And they rely on us and we follow through.
Mhm.
We're completely transparent about everything we do for the homeowners and we deliver high-end service for our high-end clientele and for our high-end guests.
And I'm sure that's very meaningful for the homeowners. I'm not trying to, bad talk any of the larger platforms, but I feel like you can't get that right where there's some type of exigent circumstance or anything that you need to get hold of somebody over there at the company. It may not necessarily be immediate or somebody may not even follow up with you, for a while. So that I'm sure the way that you kind of communicate with your homeowners, goes a long ways for them. And I'm sure they appreciate that. Um,
The other thing is that even the homes themselves have their own personality. You know what I mean? Every
yeah.
home is a little different. Every home has its idiosyncrasies. Every home has its little quirks, or little things that could go wrong. And we document those things. We use technology to help us document and track everything so that we know, oh, that happened before, we know what to do,
Mhm.
or whatever the case is. And we get to know the homes as much as we get to know the homeowners.
Right.
As well as we can. I mean, we don't sleep there. Unfortunately, I would love to visit some of my homes. But we get to know the homes as well as the homeowners,
Mhm.
and they appreciate that because we take care of their homes. It's a big investment for them and it's a big asset. So, we want to make sure that asset is taken care of.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's ingrained in your philosophy at Diggs. And you describe Diggs as a hospitality company first. So, not a property management company. You personally shoot your own property photography, which is awesome to hear. And then you hold an interior design certification as well. And you have a production and media background that kind of shapes how every listing is positioned and presented. Walk me through what that actually looks like in practice. When you take on a new property, what do you do in the first 30 days that most STR managers either do not know to do or simply just don't bother with?
Well, having a marketing background and a creative production and background it definitely helps. I mean, I look at life as I've collected tools in my toolbox my whole life. I use every tool in this business, every
Mhm.
single tool. I've been a photographer for over 50 years. I know I don't look 50, but I've been a photographer for a long time. So for me, I have a good eye for what is going to look good. And then design wise, I got that degree just because I was building sets in LA.
Mhm.
And, I needed to have a good sense of what we can do to make things look good because you've got 4 seconds on a screen to grab someone's attention. So the nuances of each image makes a difference. Is it staged right? Is it, every wrinkle on the bed? I mean, we really take careful attention to all the photos that we shoot. And
Mhm.
we update our photos frequently. So if they've done more work in the house, we'll do that. But I'm kind of wondering a little bit. What was the
No,
essence
no,
of?
no. And I was going to comment real quick too. You doing everything like that too is kind of your own creative outlet, right? Like you can kind of create and photo
Yes.
shoot any way that you want. Nobody's telling you how to do it or anything like that. And I think that also helps kind of preserve the uniqueness of each property, just with what you're able to kind of set it up as and show other people of what it looks like. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It is my creative outlet because I still need to have that creativity, and that gives me the opportunity to do that. I write all the copy for the homes too, so I know that what people are looking for. I know what why they're coming here. So I write the copy, and having done that for many other products in my life because I did direct to consumer marketing in LA, and so having that background and we're direct. This is direct to the consumer, right? The
Mhm.
consumers who we're trying to reach. And so what's the USP for this property? What's the unique selling proposition for this property? It's the same in any kind of a marketing program. You want to figure out what's unique about this property that we can sell to the end consumer. And
Right.
that's what I apply those principles to how I market these homes.
That's great. That's great. I want to jump into the market too locally for you in Paso Robles. So that city or the town is in an interesting position right now. So the STR permit cap has been reached citywide with 79 applicants on the wait list as of March 2026. Average nightly rates are around 100 or sorry, excuse me, $451, and six-bedroom properties are generating over $218,000 a year. So that is a market that rewards excellent management and then punishes mediocre management very clearly. What do you think separates the properties in this market that are consistently performing from the ones that are not? And then where do you see the best opportunity for property owners in the Central Coast in 2026?
Mm, wow. Paso is on the map. And it's been on the map for a little while now. It's becoming nationally known, internationally known, even
Mhm.
because of the wines, which has brought in a lot. Although wineries aren't doing so well this year, we've got a little bit of a downslope on it. But people love this area. It's a beautiful, beautiful. It's the prettiest area in the country. I've lived all over the country.
Mhm.
This is my favorite place, I gotta tell you. It's beautiful here, and we've got the beaches and we've got the wine country. But I think why some of the homes that do so well, one, we're attracting a higher clientele. People that drink wine have discerning tastes. They want to have good food, they want to have good wine, they want to have a good accommodations.
Right.
So we take care of those things. We also, in COVID helped us start this. We offer a concierge service. So we didn't really close down here in Paso.
Mhm.
Some of the restaurants were open, but
Yeah.
but we ended up bringing the wineries in and chefs into the homes for our guests that were coming to the vacation rentals. And people loved it. And so we do a lot of that personal, how can we make your stay that much more special? I had a
Mhm.
guy that told me he was going to propose to his girlfriend. And I said,
Mhm.
okay, let me help you set this up. So he was so excited. So we set up a whole thing for him. And, I said afterwards, how did it go? He goes, she said, yes. He shows her with a ring. But it
Yeah.
was just, we really we get to know the guests as well as we get to know the homeowners. We try to do as much of that as we possibly can. It goes
Mhm.
pretty fast, but and I think that what makes a difference for the ones that make it is we answer the phone. We answer the phone, and that alone is people love it because it's like you actually answer the phone. I mean, they'll call Airbnb or VRBO or people don't answer the phone anymore, and that's
Oh my
not
gosh.
customer
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
And we believe in customer service. So,
I can't tell you how many times I'll call somewhere for customer service support or just a question. And then it takes, I don't even know how long to even get to somebody. You're rerouted, and then, some AI voice is on the line, and you're like, I just need to talk to somebody, please.
I just
So,
want to hear a human voice, please. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and with that, I want to transition the conversation to technology and AI currently. So you're managing 50 properties across two geographic zones, which is wine country and beach cities, handling 24/7 guest communications, cleaning and maintenance coordination, multi-platform listings, dynamic pricing. There's a lot. Compliance across the Central Coast, all with a small team. So where does technology fit into keeping that operation tight? And then are there tools you're currently using that you have actually made a real operational difference?
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, when I was in college, I was a computer science major, so I was able to write in code back then, a long, long time ago. I couldn't write anything now, but that background gave me a lot of confidence in using technology. And so we use a property management software system. We have a scheduling program for all the cleaners. We have 7 cleaning groups for about 35 cleaners. So our span is 72 miles from north to south and 50 miles east to west. So we have a pretty big span that
Wow.
we cover where our homes are located. And we have I use a thing called LastPass that keeps track of all of my passwords for everything, for every home, for every Wi-Fi information, gate code, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I use oh gosh, the technology we use is amazing. I also do for some of these larger homes, we set up a YouTube channel for each home and we shoot little videos on how everything operates in the house with QR codes.
That's a
And
great idea. That's amazing. I'm sorry, I didn't
it's
interrupt you.
that's but you know what? The guests love it because they don't have to call us and say, how do I turn on this TV? They
Mhm.
just scan the QR code and we give them a little instructional video on how things work. And people love that. And we
Mhm.
also do we have welcome books that have all the information on where everything is, how it works. And we try to make it as user friendly as we possibly can because when you go into a new place, you don't know which light switch turns on what. So we label
Right.
them. You don't know where the dishes go. You label those things. And so everything we can do to make a guest's experience that much more enjoyable, where they can enjoy their time instead of figuring out how to turn on a light switch or how to
Mhm.
open, figure something out. We just make it a little bit easier for them. So technology we employ quite a bit of. We have digital locks on every home. I know in every single house I have every single lock on my phone. I know who's in and who's out of every single house. Every guest gets its own unique code. And it's only active when they're there. So we
Mhm.
know who's in, who's out, when the door's locked, if the cleaner's there, if not cleaner's there. We use technology for everything.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Love
definitely
and hate it
helping a
at the
lot
same
of
time.
definitely helping a lot of different industries, especially the short-term rental industry. So it's kind of exciting to see, what's being developed, what's out there already, what can help you save time, all sorts of things. And
Yeah.
then with that being said, too, so AI is being applied to almost every layer, it seems like, of short-term rental management right now. So that could go anything from automated guest messaging, which we kind of talked about earlier. We'd rather have somebody, a person answer, but in terms of messaging, something that may be applied or just kind of a simple thing could be just automated dynamic pricing tools, listing, copy generation. Your entire brand is built on the white glove, deeply personal hospitality experience, right? So, where do you think AI genuinely helps a boutique operator like you? And then, where do you think it risks turning that kind of warm human experience that made your guests leave a review, like the Frontier Farmhouse, which we can talk about in a little bit, that cake story into something that feels generic and forgettable?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about AI. I do use it a little bit, not a lot, and it's mostly for communication. Um, for a difficult guest or for writing something up that I've got bullet points. I haven't really had time to think it all through and I'll just, so I use it for writing. I don't use it for communication to guess that much. I do have automation happening, which are, obviously access instructions and some
Mm-hmm.
of those typical things that we communicate with guests during their stay. But I don't use it that much yet. I'm trying to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not afraid of technology, but it is a little overwhelming, I have to be honest. The
Yeah,
AI,
yeah.
it's a little overwhelming and it's like a bot does it. And it's like I can't really wrap my head around it completely. So I'll get there, but I still will do old school before I do new school.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
think that again, that kind of speaks volumes to your clients, the homeowners that you deal with, and everything too. Just having somebody answer the phone that's a person on the other end, right? That can go a long ways. And then to your point too, I mean, the AI landscape is so difficult to navigate right now. I mean, there's so many different tools being thrown out there. I mean, even just your large LLMs right now, like Claude and OpenAI, ChatGPT, they're advancing so quickly. It's like it's hard to kind of keep up with everything. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Well, it is overwhelming. And my
Yeah.
brain is like, it's just, it is too much right now. And
Right.
I know I'll get it sooner or later just by, practicing and using it a little bit, but
Yeah.
how much I can trust it at this point,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I would be mortified if something went out that
Mhm.
just wasn't right. That would not be a cool thing.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely worth to be patient on a lot of these tools. I mean, you just type in any word in Google and then add AI to the end of it, and there's like, a company or tool already out there, and it's like I don't even know if I can trust who these people are, what they do, a lot with
Yeah,
their tools. So it's like I'm just gonna wait, before I myself test things out or can even like guarantee things with tools. Like you just never know. But yeah,
yeah,
to your point, I mean, there's just a lot going on right now with AI. It's kind of best just to resort to some old school methods and techniques, right, for now. So.
yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Well, it's interesting, I'm part of the VRMA. I'm on the conference committee, and we have a lot of sessions coming up about AI because it's a hot topic, obviously, and people are
right.
all in the same boat of what do I use? It's like it's like anything new.
Hmm.
But I think this is scarier than most new things.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
some reason, it feels a little scary to me.
yeah.
But so it'll be interesting to see this particular year at VRMA how much AI is being implemented because every year it feels like, it's kind of started about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's like
Mhm.
every year a little bit more gets added. So I think that more and more people are using it, but I don't think it's 100% there yet for
Right.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
agree.
we use dynamic pricing. Like when I started out, I did everything on paper first.
Hmm.
And then it's like, okay, I had to develop certain things as I needed them.
Right.
And I use Excel a lot still, and I use, certain things, but I kind of developed them and then found a program that was going to work for it, as
Hmm.
opposed to trying to retrofit something with, so I kind of found I did it a little bit, I guess, normal, right? Because this is my process, and now I want to find something that automates that process.
Yeah, I kind of do something similar. So I still take notes. I handwrite everything when I'm taking notes. It's just kind of for me, it's just I'm just more comfortable doing that as opposed to typing. And I go to the extent of like, scanning it and then having a digital copy of the handwritten notes. But like initially for me, I always resort to handwriting things. And I'm like, I, I'm just more comfortable at it. Maybe eventually there will be something where I can handwrite and it'll automatically upload somewhere where then I'll have access, wherever I want with that. But as for now, that's kind of just my process, right?
And
So,
you know what? You'll remember things better when you
right,
handwrite because it's that hand-brain connection.
right.
Like your brain is knowing what you're writing, and I think it
Mhm.
sticks in your brain better and longer
Yeah.
when you still do the manual process. And
Yeah,
that,
absolutely. Yeah.
I think that makes a difference. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. And I want to highlight now what you do for the community. So this year, from what I understand, you're on the programming committee for the VRMA,
Mhm.
um, and you're putting together the annual conference in Nashville. And then you're also now on the BOD for Visit SlowCal. Is that how you pronounce it, SlowCal, or do you?
Visit SlowCal, yeah. So
Yep.
SlowCal is San Luis Obispo County,
Okay.
and they've kind of adopted the acronym SlowCal,
Okay.
SLOCal, as opposed to Northern California, which is NorCal, right? Or Southern California, which is SoCal.
Hmm.
So we're SlowCal.
And then
We're
I
supposed
understand that you're
to,
also asked to become the BOD for Visit Paso Robles as well.
yes, yeah.
Can you kind of touch on those experiences and then also your past experience as well with PRTCC, and then what you're currently involved with in the community?
So the community, this town is these towns. There's a bunch of small towns, and
Mhm.
it's actually the San Luis Obispo County is made up of several small towns. So Paso is one of them, and Templeton, Pismo Beach, Cambria. There's a bunch of towns. They all have different rules and they all have different regulations. So
Mhm.
that alone is a can of worms. And then there's all the county homes, so all the county spaces. But SlowCal is the DMO, the Destination Marketing Organization for the whole region. And they do a fabulous job. So a portion of our TOT, our transient occupancy tax that we collect from the guest goes to SlowCal.
Mhm.
And they use those dollars to promote the area as a marketing
Oh, I see.
tools. Yeah. So
Okay.
1.5% of our TOT goes to them. And
Mhm.
then for the Paso homes, about 2% goes to visit Paso Robles. So those two organizations promote this area quite extensively and do a very good job at it
Mhm.
uh, to bring tourists here. And the TOT for that vacation rentals brings in is pretty high on the number on what what's coming in from the city for the
Right.
county city. It's
Right.
pretty good. So they love us. They do love us, but of course, there's always that crazy balance of, the locals don't want all vacation rentals and all of that type of stuff. So there's always that fine, delicate balance.
Yeah.
And then what else? Yeah, then of course the VRMA. So I get involved with the community. I did do 2 terms as on the board of directors for the Paso Robles and Templeton Chamber of Commerce, and
Mhm.
that just turned out. So you can only do 2 terms in a row. So that turned out, and I'm yeah,
Well, appreciate
excited.
you. Yeah, everything you do for the community. That's amazing. And then last question here. So you built Digs from scratch, and basically took some of the homeowners who believed in you enough to follow you out the door. And then 7 years later, you now have, 50 properties. You're an Airbnb superhost. You've had that status for 3 consecutive quarters and
Actually, no, but 26 quarters.
26 quarters.
26 quarters, all but one since we started.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, well, that's amazing. I'm glad
Yeah.
you made that correction because that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have also a reputation as the premier luxury STR manager on the Central Coast. So for someone who's thinking about getting into vacation rental management or investing in a short-term rental property in wine country for the first time, what is the honest advice you wish someone had given you before you started?
Wow. Um, don't do it. No, I'm kidding. I'm very passionate about what I do. I love this business, and
Mhm.
Um, I think for a homeowner, if you're going to get into this business, it is a business. It's not just a, a kind of fly by night thing. This is a
Mhm.
serious business. It's a $72 billion business now, and it's huge. And people ex have very high expectations now. It's not a use your grandmother's furniture type thing. They have high expectations for luxury accommodations today, and you have to deliver or
Mhm.
else you're going to get the bad reviews. I mean, we're judged every single stay, and we have to maintain that level. I mean, to maintain 26 times we've got superhost status. 7 of our homes are in the top 5 or 10% worldwide out of
Wow.
8 billion homes. So
Wow.
we have to maintain a certain level of quality constantly, and
Mhm.
it's mind-numbing and exhausting at
Yeah.
times, to say the least.
Right. Right.
Um, yeah, and you won't be able to take a vacation yourself. So
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. And then where can people find you at, both for Digs Vacation Rentals and then, your personal brand as well?
we have offices. I actually renovated a 100-year-old building in downtown Templeton.
Very
And
cool.
the Chamber of Commerce has an office here in front. I rent part of the retail spot to them.
Hmm.
But we have a 100-year-old building in downtown Templeton at 524 South Main Street. It's a lovely little downtown building, and they can always find us online at Digs, Digs, Vacation Rentals with an S.com. And they can
Perfect.
book online. Yeah.
Great. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I had a great time with conversations and learning about digs. And yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.